And we are recording. Okay. What's up?
Let me switch my video so I'm looking at the right screen here. Oh, all right. Well, friend, another plentiful week.
Elaborate for me, man. Elaborate.
Settled into the new house for the most part, which is good because it gets me back to my routine, which typically consists of meditation in the morning,
Yes.
some reading and some coffee. I to go down the routine path. I'm starting up the Joe Dispenza long ones.
Oh, nice. Going hardcore. Going hard in the paint.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, right? Like if I enjoy it or not. But
Well, what's the barometer, man?
How is it making me feel?
How do I feel? How do I feel?
For me, it's like I'm eager to try the program for like a little bit of time and seeing what happens. So it's like a curiosity thing for me.
Exactly.
Right now. Yeah.
The curiosity, I love following that. Like, I'm like Curious George with all the types of shit that I try out, man. I love it. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes high involvement, low attachment.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way. I've never heard that. But yeah, it's like, it was 50 minutes today, but at no point was I like, oh my gosh, I wonder how many minutes are left. I was like, oh wow, I can't believe 50 minutes. Like I was really like excited that I could sit there for 50 minutes. Because there was a time where sitting for 10 was like don't lock me in a room with myself with my thoughts. That sounds terrible, So
for me, it's just like I want to do so many other things than meditate. And I'm like, I want to do all these things. I want to do this and this and this and this and that, and not meditate. And then the irony is that all of those other things just turn out to be less enjoyable if I don't include the meditation in the beginning of the day consistently, or earlier on in the day. It's not the first thing that I do. Cool, man. So is this your first day, or have you been doing it for a week, or what?
Today was my first day of going back to the long Joe Dispenza ones. It went well.
Can't fuck it up, man. You can't fuck it up.
No, it's like
they have retreats too. So when this whole pandemic thing clears up, if you get really into them, you can go on like a weekend or week-long retreat kind of thing, which I can imagine being super intense. If it's doing that kind of shit for that long it's nuts. Like going on my meditation retreat, it was only like 10 days, and it felt like 2 years, but I was meditating all day long. That's not an exaggeration.
It was eternity, though.
It was literally all day.
After?
What's that?
Did you feel different after?
Yeah, for sure. They even warn you when driving, like when you're driving, make sure you're going the speed limit or close to it, because you're gonna want to drive really slowly. And everything just seemed so much faster when I left. And then I think the most dramatic change, like in the moment there, was it was a metta retreat, METTA, which is loving kindness. And the long and short of it was 10 days, more like 7 days of actual meditation, focused on the metta, which is basically wishing everyone and everything in the entire universe joyfulness and freeness from suffering every day, all day long. And so towards the end, I was there. Part of the meditations are just doing chores and doing the meditation while doing like these mundane, humble tasks, like cleaning a bathroom. And while I was cleaning the bathroom, I had this like Ajax-y type powder that I was cleaning the bathroom with, and I saw a little tiny like gnat or something fly into or close to that powder, and it was going to meet its demise. And I cried,
No
empathizing
way.
with like this little creature who had no idea what fate was approaching. So I tried, and I tried really quick. I was like, oh, and I tried to save it, like it was my pet or something, and then got it to get up to my finger, and then I just like shoot it out the door so that it could be not die in the drain, kind of thing. And then I went back to my normal life and I eat ribeye now, but but that wasn't it. Like that was a level of empathy and compassion that I don't think I've experienced before.
That's so cool.
So yeah, it was like that was intense. That was intense. So just imagine, doing that for a year, or all day, every day for a year, and going in between meditation and then mindfulness. And you're living that monk lifestyle. It's a totally different way of being. I can't imagine what that would do to my mind or my brain. There's no devices, there's no phones, there's no computers, there's no internet. It's just the chores, meditation, and eating. And even that I didn't do. I was fasting during that time. So I fasted for those 7 days. So I didn't even do the fun part, I guess. So my meals were like water and salt.
Yeah.
And like apple cider vinegar or whatever. Not recommending this to anyone, by the way. It's not a recommendation. That's what I did. And so I'm all on board with just trying shit out for the experience.
I did a 2 or 3 day one. They have a great meditation center that's hopefully not disrupted by the fires in Colorado right now, but 2 or 3 days. And like, I went into it with I was letting the events of the outside world consume me for the entire time, which is like fine, right? Like that's what happened. I didn't have a deep spiritual experience because I was so preoccupied with, things back home. But it's funny you brought this up because I was looking at like week-long, we'll call it a retreat for this one program.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, why wouldn't I try this? It's like, well, when I look at like, how did I stumble upon this thing? Like I stumbled upon it. I didn't seek it out for some specific output, though I have one in mind. So yeah, I don't know. I'm toying with going to one at the beginning of next year, but we'll see.
Yeah, you can't fuck it up, man. So do it, don't do it. Either way, I love just trying random shit out. And really, I mean, I did it with my dad. I went with my dad, and it was really cool. And then we made a pact like early on to just not interact while we were there, because it was silent too. There was no talking. And so we just didn't interact. We had like totally separate rooms, and it was a trip. It was a total trip. Went to the Amazon with him. Did a whole bunch of shit. Go do stuff. Very rarely do I hear like, I should have never gone on that spiritual retreat. Like,
that's a good way.
Even if it sucks, right? Like the trip to the Amazon sucked. I wanted to leave on like day 1. And so did my dad. My dad was like, this kind of sucks.
What did you do on the trip to the Amazon?
It was a ayahuasca retreat.
Oh, did you do it?
Yes, I did.
Was it incredible?
No, it was not. It was all the information I got from the ayahuasca was, what are you doing, dude? You don't need to be going to the Amazon to have a spiritual experience. Like, you're doing the deal right now. Like this work that you're doing with your guys right now, like the thing that you're like in the Amazon and some exotic, like you don't need to go to some exotic place to go experience. It's like,
well, that's not no information though. again, right? Like no bad spiritual experiences,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. No, I mean, absolutely. Like when we were doing it, we're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
We wanted to leave, but we weren't. So when I say want, I'm talking like little W want to leave. So the capital W, I was like, we're not fucking bitching out and leaving. We're going to stay here for the 2 weeks and it's going to suck the entire time. And then we're going to have great stories about how much it sucks. And then we'll have done it. It was great. And the funniest part, or well, I won't say the funniest because there were a ton of funny parts, but one of the funniest parts was after the retreat was over and we left the jungle and then took the boat on the Amazon to the bus, which took us back to like the first major town where we could get a hotel. The hotel we were staying in, my dad was like, fuck this hotel. This hotel sucks. We're going to whatever the nicest hotel in this little town is. So we found the nicest hotel, which was actually pretty nice. And then when we check in, the host was like, okay, are you guys sharing a room? We're like, yeah, we'll share a room. Or no, we're getting 2 separate rooms. And it's like, okay, well, would you also like this? And then he takes out a binder, a laminated binder with laminated sheets on the inside of prostitutes. It was like, we had established previously that we were father and son. And I'm like, in what world do I want to come to this hotel and fuck prostitutes with my dad? In what universe would I ever want to do that?
Probably happens all the time, man.
I'm just like, what the fuck? Thanks, but no. I was like, how do I politely decline this?
No thanks, but I'll just take the binder anyway. I'll just hold on to this.
Oh my god, just looking at my dad, I'm like, this trip is fucking nuts and so crazy from beginning to end. But yeah, that was the trip. It was like 5 years ago now at this point. So when I get like nudges to be like, you might want to go do this thing, just do the fucking thing, man. All the other bullshit that's coming up is that's exactly it. And look, man, it takes practice. And I'm not perfect at it by any means.
I'm really glad that we went here tonight on this conversation, because I was internally talking myself out of this thing. And like, if we go back to why I want, to participate in exposing this content to hopefully a greater audience, right, is because I didn't know how to get the thing I have today, which is, let's call it well-being, right? For basically, from when I was 8 to like 27, 28, I don't know. It was like, I didn't think this type of life was available to me until I started witnessing it in certain forums, right, that I was going to. I started seeing it happening in other people's lives. So I jumped on the bandwagon. You showed me the way. And of course, we hope that, other people can find that same thing here. But the reason I was attracted to this program that I'm contemplating was, well, I saw a testimonial, right, of this person, completely authentic and genuine and really moving. And it's just like, oh, like, I would love to go participate in this thing and see if, it'd be really cool to explore to see if I could have a similar experience, particularly with, looking to resolve some of the issues with my leg right now. So I don't know. It doesn't feel like I have to do it, or that like I must go do this thing, but it feels interesting, right? And I want to check it out.
Yeah, I would be aware of expectations with
right.
any of these kinds of things. So just be aware, like, the root of so many resentments are the ambitions that I have about a particular thing, scenario, or person. And so it's for me, I don't know how to go into something like without expectations, but I attempt to have an awareness of what they are and be okay with whatever outcome may come of it, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
Could fucking suck. Gonna be total shit. Who knows? And it doesn't matter. I'm just trying shit out.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I try and do, like with what I did with the meditation retreats, I think I was gonna get enlightenment or like fucking no. I was like, this is intellectual curiosity, spiritual curiosity. I'm just gonna play around, be playful with it. And the same thing with all my other shit.
You know, and like with yours, at minimum, I'll get the information of, is this something I want to not invest, but I want to spend more of my time on, or is it something that doesn't work for me? And I'll go check out something else, right? But in order for me to get to that point, I got to go check out a thing, right? And see if it works or doesn't work.
Just want to check it out.
Yeah.
Just check it out, man. It's very rarely has steered me in any, like, it's never steered me in a direction I was like, oh no, look at all these consequences. This doesn't work that way. Not when we're at where we're at. Well, you mentioned like how your life was like and what, like, in the life that you wanted. Well, what was the life that you wanted? Right, because like the purpose of this thing, like I don't really think people can listen to this and be like, oh, I know what to do now and I can go like live like the life that I want to live. And that's not really the point of uploading this stuff. Primarily the goal for me anyway with just putting it out into the world is sharing in general and sometimes specifically what my story was in relation to my emotional well-being. And if someone else is out there is just feeling like absolute garbage on a day-to-day basis, or it's just like meh, letting them know like it doesn't have to be that way, and you don't have to buy some like program or some other bullshit to get through it. And I can share some of my experience and how I did that, but mostly it's just to let people know that it's possible. Because I didn't really, because so much of the time when I was like looking for help and just reassurance that I could be okay and that I was okay, someone was trying to sell me something, some book or some fucking psychiatrist or some psychologist or some doctor or some program or some retreat or whatever it was. Always like I never trust their incentives. And here I'm not selling anything. I can just share like, hey, I've done it and I've helped a bunch of other people also do it. And by it, I mean, are you feeling like dog shit on a pretty consistent basis? It doesn't have to be that way anymore. And then it's like, well, how? The how I can't really help them with. I can't like be like, go sign up for this thing that I made. I don't know how to do it without meeting with someone one-on-one consistently over time. And that doesn't really scale. Right? There's only one me. And so, well, the way that that's not true. The way that it scales is the end of the program, which is, I'm lying when I say there's an end, like there's an end to a circle where, and to be specific with what I mean like that and less woo-woo, is like the end is helping other people. So and that can be something, you can start doing that literally now. Is like, let's say I started working with a new guy, they can start doing that literally today, just not in this capacity, not in a mentor-mentee kind of role. They can like open the door for people, be available. Like if they're a pretty shit like son or daughter, right? They can be better as a son or daughter, show up to things, tell the truth more frequently, those kinds of things. But as life starts to unfold and expand, it becomes almost a moral obligation for me to share with other people what I've gotten that was so freely given. Why wouldn't I? And so if I get like, so I've got a couple guys and one of them now also has a couple of guys. And I was joking in the other podcasts that that is the best, like it's the best MLM that ever existed, because there's no fucking all we're providing is joyfulness. That's it. And the cost is showing up. That's it.
After the $500 sign up fee, it's been free.
Yeah. And then the $50 per month like subscription, like
Yeah,
affiliate
sure.
fee. Yeah, absolutely.
Standard boilerplate agreements for like things like this.
Yeah, man, there's no powders, there's no pills, there's no fucking, no, it's just people helping other people. That's it. And my motive is like, well, why would you do that? Is because I get 10 times what I put into this. Like me helping the other people have just corresponded with my life absolutely exploding. That's what I get out of it. I don't know what weird like rule there is in the universe that like the more that you help other people expand their lives, the more your life expands. I don't know what that is or why it works, but it works. So that's what I get out of it. And so, yeah, it is scalable. It's not scalable with me doing it with one person. It's me rinsing and repeating with people and then them doing this and then them doing the same thing. And this is not a dig on you not having a guy yet. And it never is. But that's how it scales. Because you can do that math pretty nicely.
Certainly works.
10, and then each one gets 10. Best pyramid scheme ever.
Right. All goes to the top.
It's actually pretty quickly you get to like the whole world. So it actually is. Best pyramid scheme ever. So yeah. All right. So I'm guessing you're going to sign up for that retreat or whatever it is. You're going to go do that thing.
We'll see. I've got some time to decide.
Cool. Or not.
Yeah.
What else is going on? You got back into your meditation routine. What else?
Yeah, I'm looking to get back with the community I'm in right now with let's see, the groups I've participated in the past. I'm going to start checking those out again, which I'm really excited about. I've got a lot of great friendships that exist in this neighborhood that I get to go reinvigorate now. So I'm excited to go explore around that.
Oh, sweet. Are you closer? Are you closer now that you moved, or same vicinity, or?
I moved back to Parker.
Okay. I thought you were in Parker before as well.
No, the first place you went to was in Parker.
Okay.
Or the only place you went to.
Okay.
So yeah, looking to do that because that's what's been, I think, what I've been craving is just some more in-person stuff.
Yeah. Can you meet now with other people in Colorado?
Some groups do. Yes. Okay. The home group, the group I am home to, they have not gone back to in person.
Okay.
But there's other groups that have.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, someone reached out to me who I hadn't seen in a long time, and it was like, hey. And I was like, oh my gosh, another human. They're like, do you want to walk around the lake? And I was like, yes, that sounds awesome. And I did it. I was like, wow, there's another human being in the world. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
That was before the fires started. So I'm glad I got that in when I did.
Yeah. I did to go full circle. I think it was last week I mentioned to you, like we both had these experiences with desks, with standing desks where the like one piece was missing.
Yes.
Well, for me, that piece was the top, right? And I paid a lot of money for. And when we last time spoke, it was like everything had come but that. Mm-hmm. And so I was freaking out about it. Yeah. And then it gets here and the top's damaged, like this nice wood top desk. Nice. So I'm like, oh, what the hell? Like, I thought this was going to work out perfectly, like Andrew's situation did, you know, like, because we talked about how we were going to circle back on this thing. Well, that wasn't the end. I called the place, great customer service. They're like, oh, well, we had people stop sending them back to us, so we're just going to send you a new one. And so I have two of these beautiful pieces of craftsmanship.
I was literally just going to say it always works out perfectly. So when you mentioned, oh, how come it doesn't work out like it's like that old parable of the It's like a Chinese parable. I'm gonna butcher it. If anyone's listening who's heard it before, they'll probably yell at me right now. But and I probably told this to you a million times. But there's a farmer who has a son.
Oh yeah.
Like yada yada. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, that's good. Well, we'll see. Oh, that's bad. Well, we'll see. It always works out perfectly. Always, every time.
It does.
Because even,
but I still appreciate every little bit more of evidence I get, so that I can look back on the past experiences and maybe freak out a little less next time, right? About this one little.
And I want to clarify, and to be specific, it's like, it's not the outcome, right? So it's not you got 2 desktops, right? That's dope. Of course, it worked out that way, obviously, and those outcomes are nice. But it is, whatever it is, it's always an opportunity to do this kind of work. So let's say no top came and they were like, fuck you, you're out of luck. We sent you the top, go fuck yourself. And you're out $800, right? Now you get another like, okay, well, how do I want to behave in this scenario? And I get an opportunity to practice the spiritual work and act like how I want to be in the world. And what is that? And discovering what that is. Works out perfectly every time. Every time. That's why I'm like, it's impossible to, that's when I say you can't fuck it up. That's what I mean. We really can't. We really can't.
Now, it is really powerful too when you get to the place of, especially with my leg thing going on right now, I was like, I don't particularly love this event that's unfolded in my life. However, I know that it's working for my greater good, right? And you gave me that quote, and it still works for everything today. Because you have no idea. And I know it's a dumb little case of this desk, but that is a perfect example of how what I wanted was one desk in good condition. And now I got, more than that. I got much more than that. And I didn't even ask for it, but at surface value, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm fucked. My desk has a little dent in it.
I get what I'm looking for, man. I always get what I'm looking for. And if I'm looking for evidence for how stuff always works out, I'm going to find it. And if I look for evidence for how horrible the world is, I'm going to find it. If I look for evidence for how beautiful the world is, I'm going to find it. My world is what I focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Period, full stop. Try it out. If you don't take my word for it, try it out. Open the news every day for a month and read the news for 30 minutes every day for a month, and then chart how you feel. I think it's going to be different. And then do the opposite. Every day when you wake up, that first 30 minutes, write a letter to someone you haven't talked to who you care about very much. See how you feel. Or write appreciations down instead. Whatever. Or nothing. Just don't read or watch the news. Just take that out of your life.
Get past my generation, man. I never got into that.
So, well, wait till you get to almost your 40s. We'll see. We'll see. And maybe you won't. Good for you. And that's just that's an example. News is really easy because news sells fear and divisiveness, basically.
I'll tell you what was the last thing I'll say on this topic of news is we hadn't been getting any commercials through our streaming services, and then we got a free service to something else that had commercials. We're like, oh my gosh, look, this is terrible, the stuff they're trying to constantly get our attention for. It seems comical. It's it's just weird when you've, like you said, been taken out of it for a while and then get exposed to it again.
Yeah, anywhere I can pay to not experience ads, A-okay with me. A-okay with me. Well, what else you got for me, man?
That's it. got a lot of things I'm going to be exploring in the coming weeks. Getting into the new routine here. And I say routine like routine is something that I really value. So I'm like excited to explore new routines and get into new or redevelop some habits that kind of faded a bit when we were in our transitional time moving and whatnot. So yeah, I'm just like lightly anticipatory excited.
All right, brother. Well, hit me up if anything comes up, and keep crushing it.
All right,
As
man.
always.
Thank you as always.
Later.
See you, brother.